Hey, look, let's go Brandon Johnson. He won an award. Chicago's Brandon Johnson named worst sanctuary mayor in all of the land. Let's get into it. Let's check this out. Here we go. Chicago Mayor Brandon Johnson, let's go Brandon, tops the list of 10 worst sanctuary mayors in the United States. It's according to a conservative immigration group. The Immigration Reform Law Institute, the IRLI, a conservative immigration organization based in D.C., published a list of America's 10 worst sanctuary mayors on Tuesday. The list includes the leaders of many notorious sanctuary cities that largely refuse to cooperate with federal immigration authorities, such as New York City's Eric Adams. We've talked about him a million times. Washington, D.C., Mayor Muriel Bowser. She is horrible. She is awful. I mean, the list just goes on and on and on. Topping the list at number 1 was Johnson, who was elected in April 2023 to lead the Windy City. IRLI, they blasted the Democratic mayor for signing an executive order reaffirming Chicago as a welcoming and sanctuary city for illegal migrants, establishing an office dedicated to supporting unlawful migrants for seemingly blaming the city's crime wave over the 4th of July weekend on former President Richard Nixon, among other actions. Do you remember when he did that? He was like, yeah, we could have had President Johnson, but instead we went with Nixon, and it's been all downhill from then. It's been all downhill from then. My hair is pointy. I spend a lot of money on my pointy hair. Yeah, this guy is just an absolute moron. And would I give Let's Go Brandon Johnson the number 1 rating on this category? I don't think I would. I think I would give New York City's Eric Adams. I would give him the award. I think he has done more boneheaded moves. I think he knows better than Let's Go Brandon. Let's Go Brandon is so mentally deficient. He's just, I mean, you know what he is? He's a progressive that was ushered into office on a progressive campaign. And he is doing just that. Whereas, Eric Adams, New York City, he came in as he was going to, former cop. He's going to be tough on crime. And he's just kowtowed to that whole, let's just love our fellow human being. And then you got a bunch of illegals coming into the country and doing all kinds of crazy stuff. And you had the Coney Island incident this past weekend. Just some really, really raunchy stuff. And it just keeps going on and on and on and on. And these are crimes that don't necessarily have to happen, because if you vetted people coming into the country, and then if they do commit a crime, out they go. Doesn't matter who they are, what they're doing, out they go. This whole notion of being a sanctuary city, that's just stupid. It is. It's just stupid. It's virtue signaling. Hey, we don't really care about borders. And if you don't have borders, do you have a country? I mean, seriously. We want to have our country's independence and we want to have our freedom, but we also don't want to have borders. We also don't want to have a justice system. Yeah, no police, defund the police until they're gone. And prisons, dump out all the people from the prisons because, prisons are bad. Justice reform, all this craziness, right? So let's go Brandon numero uno. I can see a case being made for this jackass. I really can. I can see that case, but I wouldn't agree with it. I would say, no, let's give it to that guy from New York City. Johnson's anti-border policies have received pushback from Chicago residents, and city council meetings on the subject have faced protests from angry citizens wondering why their needs are being ignored in favor of illegal aliens. That is a good question, right? It's not like Chicago doesn't have its own issues. They've got its own huge issues. In fact, let's go over to my favorite Chicago website. Let's go over to Hey Jackass and then Chicago. Yeah, there it is. First on the list. Imagine that. Hey Jackass Chicago. Let's look and see what that's looking like. All right. August to date. I mean, we're not even halfway in on August. 14 shot and killed, shot and wounded, 133, total shot, 147, total homicides, 15 in August. That is a slow August. That's a slow August. Now let's look at year to date. Shot and killed, 330, shot and wounded, 1,603, total shot, 1,933, 1,933 people shot. Total homicides, 376. Every 2 minutes, 48 seconds, someone is being shot. Every 14 minutes, 22 seconds, someone is murdered in Chicago. And Chicago is taking on a whole bunch of illegals that they can't care for. So yeah, I would say that the Chicago residents have a reason to be angry with Let's Go Brandon Johnson. But here's the reason they don't. This is what he was elected to do. He was elected to be a progressive justice reform douchebag, and he's doing it very well. He's doing it very well. Remember when Chicago mayor backs out of commitment to $250 million joint migrant care package? He's like, ooh, yeah, our budget doesn't really allow for that. Yeah, this isn't going to work. We're basically insolvent here in Chicago. We spent so many millions of dollars on those illegals. Now we can't really care for them. So yeah, I'm going to have to say no. And joint migrant care package, I think he waffled on that. I think he came back and then he committed to that. And then Mayor Brandon Johnson asked Chicago City Council for $70 million to help house migrants. Hey, can you help a brother out? Can you help a brother out? We need some money up in here in this city. I mean, we need some money because, man, we ran out of our money. Who knew it was going to cost this much to house the migrants, feed the migrants, get them those little scooters? I mean, they've all got to have a scooter, right? So that they can illegally run around and do DoorDash in somebody else's account. We know this is true. We've podcasted on this. Just true. Yeah. So, Chicago went down the same road as Denver and everybody else. Hey, you know what? Don't come to Chicago. We're full. Do not come to Chicago. It's like Kamala Harris, heels up Harris, when she, did that thing. Do not come. Do not come. And you're like, what are you talking about? You've been virtue signaling that, you bring the illegals in, love the illegals, kumbaya moment. And then all of a sudden, do not come. Like, what are you doing? What are you doing? The whole thing is it's wacky, right? It's shenanigans. It's just political shenanigans because they're going after, that far left vote. Oh yeah, we hate borders. We hate cops. We hate justice. We hate all that stuff. Bring the illegals in, let them do whatever they want. And, it'll all be good. It'll be good. We'll just virtue signal some more. And yeah. So Let's Go Brandon did that. What a moron. What a joker. And how about this? Black Chicagoans slam Mayor Johnson for replacing them with migrants. How upset would you be if you were an illegal in Chicago? I mean, if you were a citizen of Chicago, taxpaying citizen of Chicago, you're on the lower socioeconomic end. And all of a sudden, the guy that you voted in, this is on you, the guy that you voted in sends all these resources to somebody that's never lived here. Beyond when they illegally come in, their first act into the United States is a felony. Crossing in illegally is a felony. Their first act in is a felony, and you're going to end up paying for them because they say, I want to go to Chicago. I heard it's a great sanctuary city. Of course, they're saying that in their own language, right? I want to go to Chicago. I want to go to sanctuary city, Chicago. I hear they'll take care of me. I hear we'll get just stuff, right? Just stuff. I want to go there. And so then they do. And then Mayor Johnson's own, townsfolk say basically, yeah, this isn't working. This is horrible. You have dedicated all these resources to them. And what are we getting? What are we getting? And Let's Go Brandon Johnson has to say, well, we're a sanctuary city. We love our fellow human being. And we're really happy about the way the situation's going. I've already told them no more. Don't come here anymore. Go back to DC. Go back to New York City. Go somewhere else. Go to Denver. Don't really care where you go. Just don't come here because, man, we have blown our budget big time. And so that's how Mayor Johnson gets a numero uno at the top of the terrible sanctuary city mayor list. Yeah, it doesn't surprise me at all. This guy is a complete tool, and he just virtue signals everything. He believes with compassion and conviction in his heart that he's doing the right thing. But then when you hear him talk, he's like, man, I wish Greg Abbott would, visit the Wizard of Oz so that he can understand that all these people he's shipping to Chicago, it's really not helping us out. Yeah, he doesn't understand that those people came across the southern border because of Joe Biden. Yeah, Joe Biden has totally loosened up the southern border. It was tight before he came into the office. But on day one in the office, Joe Biden said, yep, stop building the wall. Stop building the wall. And then he got pressure because the money door was already there and he had to start going again. And so he just quietly, yeah, go ahead, guys, build the wall. Build the wall. Build a big wall. Just build a wall. And there's ignores to the public that this is a fact of what's going on, which is we're building the wall. And then he goes on to do a whole bunch of, I think, 90 something executive actions where he's basically just done stuff to unravel what Trump did. Trump had record low numbers of illegals coming into the country, whereas Biden, good Lord, remember last December? What a free-for-all. Over 300,000 through the southern border. What a mess. 22,000 the week of Christmas through Eagle Pass. 22,000 in a city of not much more than that. Yeah, I mean, just the numbers are mind-boggling because everybody across the world that's in the market for doing a little relocation, they did. They did. Now you've got ramifications down in the Darien Gap. Panama's going to close that up. You've got all of this basically virtue signaling because all of a sudden coming to the country is a hot topic for the 2024 election. And even Kamala Harris is getting in on the action there. She's trying to state that, her advertising, she's stating that literally she's been tough on crime as a prosecutor, as an attorney general. And you're like, no, that really wasn't the deal. And then Joe Biden comes back with, Republicans are getting in the way because I didn't want to do that money that you didn't need any more money there, Kamala. You just needed to do the same thing that the prior president was doing that was working. And instead you unraveled all that. And this is what you get. You get this crazy amounts of illegals coming in. And as these sanctuary cities and mayors of these sanctuary cities, they got to pay for them. Got to pay for housing. Got to pay for babies being born. Got to pay for food. Got to pay for, programs to get them job permits, work visas, all this crazy stuff. Meanwhile, citizens of Chicago are like, what do we get out of this? Oh, you get nothing. You get nothing. But again, citizens of Chicago, if you elected Let's Go Brandon Johnson, this is on you. This is on you. You created this little mess. Now you got to live with it. Hey, I really thought that if we elected another progressive, criminal justice reform mayor, that things would be different. Oh, why would you expect that? I mean, how do you come up? Where's the logic in that kind of run of thinking? Well, he just seemed like a really nice guy. He probably is, but he is a total mental he doesn't get it. He should not be a mayor of a city of the size of Chicago. I hate to say it, but Lori Lightfoot was more competent. I really hate to say that. I mean, because some of the policy decisions and some of the things that she said, you're like, what? What are you talking about? This has no correlation to reality. But as much as I disliked her as mayor for Chicago, that's who the citizens of Chicago voted in. That's who they went with. They also went with this guy. Let's Go Brandon Johnson. How's that working out for them? Well, he's got the number one. He's got a number one. He's got a number one rating in something. Worst mayor in America. Sanctuary city. Not exactly the numero uno that you want, but it's the numero uno that Let's Go Brandon Johnson gets. And I think he should be proud. I think we should have a big ceremony for him. I think we should. Hey, Let's Go Brandon Johnson. You finally did something. You won an award. You won an award. Well done. Well done. High five, fist bump. All right. That's it for me on this one. Thanks so much for being here. Love to have you subscribe, do all that good stuff, because we got more of these coming. We got more of these coming. You know why? Because some states and some cities keep going down that, hell, let's just vote blue and we'll see how it goes. This is how it's going. And we're going to report it right here in News for Reasonable People. Thanks again for being here. I'll catch up with you in the next episode. Bye for now.